I don't normally do unboxing stuff on this channel, but a long time ago, Free League sent me this, the One Ring starter set. This is their second starter set for the One Ring second edition. I haven't even opened it. As you can see, the plastic is still on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this box and discover it with you, for those of you who might be interested in looking at the One Ring. That's some lovely art. This is looking very weather-toppy, so this is set in Eriador, which we know, the second edition, its main setting is Eriador, which is west of the Misty Mountains. In the first edition, it was Wilderland, which is east of the Misty Mountains, Mirkwood and Dale and Erebor and such. All right, so we flip this box cover off and put this aside. Right away, what we see, we've got the custom dice. These dice are very similar to the first edition. Looks like they're exactly the same. You've got 12-sided, which is, I forget what it's called. But there's a 12-sided, and then there's your 6-siders, which make up your dice pool. Now, some of these dice, let me take these out of the plastic here, so you can get a sense of them. The D6ers have two different types of numbers on it. So they've got 1 to 3 as normal, and they've got 4, 5, 6. However, a couple things. The 1, 2, and 3 are just outlines, which mean, if I remember this correctly, from first edition, which I think is the same as second edition, that if you are weary, which is a condition where is it fatigue meets endurance? I think it's a thing that happens in travel. Then you become weary, and if you're weary, all of the 1s, 2s, and 3s count as nothing. At least that was in first edition. 4, 5, and 6 counts normally. And then a 6 also has this little thrain or thranduil, whatever symbol this is with this rune on the 6, which means it's a great success. And you can get multiple great successes. And again, in the first edition, I think it was called Great Success and Exceptional Success or something, but whatever. That's the dice, and so they're all looking pretty similar. The 12-sided dice have a Gandalf rune and a Sauron rune, which is, a Sauron is basically 11 and the Gandalf is basically 12. If you roll a Sauron, it's an automatic failure, and also terrible things can happen. It's kind of like a fumble. And if you roll a Gandalf, it's a really good success, and it's an automatic success no matter what else you roll. Now, all of this is based on my knowledge of the first edition, so I could be wrong about this, because I haven't read second edition. I've only briefly perused it, and for the purposes of this video, we're going to assume that I know nothing about it. So these are plastic bases for stands, and we've got our typical Free League Games catalog here, because, you know, of course, they gotta sell all of the many, many, many games that they've done, which is crazy. Silica gel. Nom, 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 nom. No, don't do that. Don't eat the silica gel pack, kids. And then we've got this introductory page, the One Ring, which, it's an introduction. It tells us, welcome to the One Ring, blah, 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 blah. Getting started. You decide who's going to be the lore master, which is the term for GM. The players pick one of the pre-gen characters, and then away you go. And of course, then it says, and then go buy the real game, which has a bunch of different books involved. I have them all, just haven't run it yet. And then we get the One Ring rules booklet, which has a goblin on a warg here. The art's always great in these games, always, always great. So this is a 24-page booklet of rules, which looks a lot like it does in the main book. So it's a nice layout. It's kind of just a couple of colors with a red border, red call-out section, red headers. And yeah, this all looks very much like the main book does. Art, very much in the style of second edition. The art of the second edition departs quite radically from the art in the first edition. They're both good, they're just slightly different. The second edition art is a lot like this. It's very line drawing. That's not the right word. I don't know what you call this style, but it's this. So yeah, talks about the player heroes, or player characters, an example of play, fellowship focuses, patrons, all of this is very familiar to me. Action resolution. This is similar to, the difference in this game, as far as I can tell, is how you spend hope and how you get hope back. In the One Ring, hope is a very, very valuable resource. And there's quite a difference in how second edition handles it, from what I understand, than from what first edition does. From what I've seen so far, I actually prefer the first edition, because hope is a very finite, valuable resource that always works in the first edition, but it's very hard to get back. Whereas in the second edition, as far as I can tell, could be wrong, but it'll be in this book right here, regardless. In the second edition, hope is easier to get, but it's just an extra die that you add to your dice pool. So it doesn't guarantee success, right? It gives you a better chance. That's what I understand. Could be wrong, but the answer will be in here. I'm not going to read it right now. And here we are. Endurance, weary, hope, all of this stuff. Here we go. Spend hope to gain extra success dice to roll. Yeah, or to trigger the effects of certain cultural virtues. And then recovering hope. Every time they take a prolonged rest, they get a point of hope back. Wow, that's a lot more forgiving than the first edition. Oof. And the shadow. The thing about the One Ring is that I have never seen a game, and this is first or second edition, I have never seen a game that more perfectly encapsulates its source material and honors it like this one does. The author of this game, whose name is Francesco Nepetello, and of course I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, he's an Italian fella, it turns out. He got it so right. The whole design team got it so right. The first time I read The One Ring, the first edition, I was just blown away about how perfectly it felt like Middle-earth. It was just great. So this second edition continues that fine tradition. Then we get into combat. Combat is done very differently in The One Ring, and I like it. It's not your typical kind of 5e situation where you're moving around to, square by square, taking a turn, initiative, stuff like that. It works very, very differently. And of course, it tells you how that is done here. It's all about stances: rearward, defensive, open, or forward. This is similar to the first edition as well. And then we talk about damage and first aid and piercing blows. That's still in there, kind of like a critical hit. Then we got adversaries, how to read the enemy stat block, basically, and how they differ from characters. And a combat example here. I guess we're going to have some standees in the box because we have some examples of that here. Council is, of course, the social encounter rules. And then the journey, of course. This is a big thing in a Middle-earth game is, getting there is half the fun, much as it is in my own game, The Broken Empires. Very much inspired by the journey rules here. I know they've changed the journey rules from the first edition, but I don't exactly know how. But it wouldn't take much to find out because there's not too many pages here. It looks like a total of 3 pages here. So that's it. That's the rules. And then in the very back, we get some crucial tables. This is your die roll results, the sources of shadow, misdeeds, journey rolls, guide, hunter, lookout, that kind of stuff. And then some stuff you need to do. Wound severity, the event target on a journey, and journey events. So that is all pretty familiar to me. Then we get what I presume is the actual adventure, Overhill and Underhill. And this one is also 16 pages, so not crazy, but looks like there's still a significant amount of stuff in here. Overview. It's divided into 3 parts, followed by an epilogue. Each part is expected to take about 1 hour of gameplay, with the final part likely taking twice as long. So a good solid session of play. You could get through the whole thing, it looks like. Which is kind of cool. Gives you the synopsis: A Fateful Meeting, The Crowned Hill, Iron Jaws. I don't know anything about this. I'm literally seeing this for the first time. Part 1, A Fateful Meeting. This is obviously the setup, and we find out what the mission is, what we need to do. There's a little map of the specific area that we're going to be looking at. And then part 2, The Crowned Hill. This is going to be like the quote-unquote adventure site, whatever that is. It looks like maybe an old barrow or something like that. The Cursed Pit, hints and riddles. The Attack, The Ruins of Cran. This all looks very cool. Looks like there's goblins involved. Good to see some goblins in Middle-earth. Lots of cool stuff. The trail leads east, and then part 3, Iron Jaws. I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like they're being hunted by wolves or something, so that's all cool. And then we've got some encounters, dangerous encounters, normal encounters, orcish roast, petrified troll. These look like random encounters, maybe journey events if they have to go somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm just guessing. The Goblin Lair. This is like a little mini dungeon thing, so presumably this is where they ultimately wind up to complete the mission, whatever that happens to be. As I said, I don't actually know. And then finally the epilogue, in which we wrap things up. And then we have our stat blocks for our main adversaries here. All right, and then it looks like we get into our... I'm gonna do this. We get into our pre-gen characters. So let's see what we have here. So we've got Vida, daughter of Gautar. And there is the character sheet, all written in. Looks like, made to look like it's written in handwriting. So there's Gira, there's Regin, Stonefist, looks like a dwarf. Dwarves of Durin's folk. Fimbrithil, it's obviously an elf. Yep, an elf of Linden, which is Grey Havens. Mentha Northdux, this is obviously halfling, or hobbit, I should say. We are in Middle-earth after all. Great, and then we've got Dun here. I'm going to guess this is a Dunedain. Yes, Ranges of the North. There we go. Very, very cool. So that's them. So is that one, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 you can choose from. It's a good solid amount. Looks like we have a prop here. Prop letter, which probably propels us into the action. In fact, I remember seeing this in the adventure book. So, yeah, this is cool. And what is this? Oh, this is probably for the GM. A journey log. Yeah, this is for the GM or possibly the players. Not exactly sure. I do know that this journey log is a new thing they added for the second edition. I don't know if you can see this, but this little hex map. So this is for the players to be able to draw out their journey. I love this, actually. I think it's great to have the players actively involved in things like mapping the journey, keeping track of who's doing what, making a little note of events. I think that's great. That really, really can bring them into the world. That's cool. And then it looks like we have a map, a big fold-out map. Beautiful map, as always, as expected. This is Middle-earth, after all. This looks like a map of Eriador. Oh, and it's a double-sided one, too, which is great. So let's look at this one first. Oh, that is a big one. Map of Eriador. Yeah, this is the whole bit. There's the Grey Havens. There's Harland. We all the way down to Tharbad and all the way over to Rivendell. So, yeah, this is Carn Dûm up there as well, and Angmar, the Ettenmoors, Fornost. Yep, all the stuff is here. This is a big, big area. In fact, even way down here is a very Rohan, the very tip of Rohan there. And, of course, the Shire. The Shire, Mr. Frodo. And then on the other side, we've got, what is this? Is this like an encounter map? Oh, wait a minute. This looks like a combat map because in combat you choose a stance. We've got rearward, defensive, open, forward, and then foes standing back. So this is a battle map, basically. And I wonder if it's divided up into the different areas. I don't know. I don't know how to read this because I don't know the rules of the second edition well enough, but this is very clever. I like this. I like this a lot. Of course, it's a work of art. It's a beautiful thing. That's very cool. This makes me excited to play the game, actually. This makes me really excited to give this a whirl. And then we've got the standees, which, of course, we would use with our plastic stands here. These, it's sort of like poor man's miniatures, but it works just fine. They're double-sided. They tell you what they are. Each PC has got a mini here, each major monster. So that is very cool, and that is that. So, once again, we see Free League has produced a winner here. Now, again, I can't comment on the quality of the adventure itself, because I haven't read it. But I'm going to imagine, considering it was written by the creator himself, that it is, well, situated to be a perfect Middle-earth adventure, which is great. I didn't expect anything less from Free League, frankly. Their material is consistently great. I have yet to encounter a product from them that I didn't like. There's better ones than others in terms of my personal opinion, but I've never encountered something that I thought, oh, this is just lazy, or they clearly rushed this out, nothing like that. And the One Ring starter set is yet again, fulfilling that proud Free League tradition of creating really, really beautiful, well-made, exciting stuff. The biggest question I have when I see a thing like this is, does it make me want to play it? And I am immediately salivating again over the idea of going back to Middle-earth when I look at this, which is dangerous because I can't go back to the One Ring right now. I've got too many other projects, including my own, the Broken Empires. I have to finish that. It's very tempting for me to just go, no, we're going to run a One Ring campaign, but no, I can't go back to Middle-earth, not just yet. Anyway, this is great. It's not new. It's been out for at least a year, but if you're into the One Ring and you want to, or if you're into Middle-earth role-playing and you want to check it out, I think you could do far, far, far worse than checking this one out. Now, there was a previous starter set, which was all about hobbits. I have it over here. It was the first one that came out. I think they've stopped releasing that as a starter set, but they're going to release it as like a separate book called Hobbit Tales, I believe, and I think it's the same material. This is a different one. This one I think is much better because this one removes you from the Shire itself, starts you in Bree, and allows you to explore that area around there, which is great because that's the beginning of kind of the true wilderness between Bree and the Misty Mountains, which is an area filled with ancient ruins and castles and monsters crawling around and trolls and all kind of great, dangerous, adventurous stuff. Anyway, that is the One Ring starter set. Check it out. I dig it. I think I want to run it, even though I don't have time. Anyway, well done, Free League. Well done.